All right, welcome to another deep dive. We're tackling something I know a lot of you've been asking about, manifestation.
Oh, yeah.
And specifically, we're going deep on this YouTube podcast script someone sent us. It's called, hang on, Mastering Manifestation, Turn Your Dreams into Reality. Catchy, right?
It is.
But our listeners, they're not newbies. They're past the wish upon a star phase, right? We want to get into the nitty-gritty, the HOW, not just the what.
Absolutely. And the script gets into that, which is great. A lot of times, people oversimplify manifestation. It's not just wishing really, really hard.
No magic lamp situation.
Right. It's more about aligning your thoughts and your emotions, even your actions.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like becoming a magnet for what you want.
So it's not passive. I got to actually do something.
Exactly. It's like you're co-creating with, well, with the universe or whatever you believe in. You put the intention out there, but you got to pave the way for it to show up.
Makes sense. The script even mentions some of the popular books out there, like The Secret, Think and Grow Rich. A lot of them talk about mindset, right? Like our thoughts shaping reality.
Yeah, and that's a key point that I think those books get right. It's the foundation.
But that gets some pushback, right? Like people saying it's just toxic positivity, ignoring the bad stuff.
I get that, and it's a valid concern. But it's not about pretending everything's perfect or that bad things don't exist.
More like choosing where you focus your energy, right?
Exactly. It's recognizing that what you think about, what you believe, it influences how you act and ultimately what happens to you. So if you're dwelling on problems,
You're kind of attracting more of them.
it can feel that way. But if you shift your focus to what you want to create, that can be empowering.
Okay, so I'm sold on the mindset part. But I'm a practical person. What are the nuts and bolts of how manifestation actually works? Like, are there steps?
Well, the script breaks it down into 4 key principles. And yeah, they're kind of like steps, but they all weave together. First one, clarity. Got to be specific.
So not just, I want a better job.
Right. That's too vague. The universe, or whatever force you believe in, it responds to details. So define better, higher pay, more creative work, shorter commute.
Got it. Paint the picture.
Exactly. Then belief. This is huge. If you're full of doubt, it's like trying to drive with the parking brake on.
Oh, I've been there, working on something, but deep down thinking this will never succeed. It's like self-sabotage.
It is, and it shows how powerful our subconscious beliefs are. Sometimes we're manifesting stuff we don't even realize we're attracting.
Whoa. So how do you fix that?
Identifying those limiting beliefs and then working to change them. The script talks a lot about affirmations, visualizations, things that rewire your thinking.
Yeah, those are the classic manifestation tools. But what about the doing part? Isn't action important too?
That's where inspired action comes in, and that's the third principle. It's not enough to just think about it. Got to take steps that match your vision.
Inspired being the key word, right? Not just in any random action.
Yes. It shouldn't feel forced or desperate. It should feel aligned with what you're trying to manifest. Like if you want to change careers,
Don't just mass email your resume everywhere.
maybe take a course to improve your skills or network with people in that field, even just spending time getting clear on your ideal job description. That's inspired action.
I see. It's about creating the right conditions for your desire to kind of materialize.
You got it. It's co-creation, remember. And then the fourth principle, which is often misunderstood, gratitude.
Ah, yeah, gratitude. Everyone says to be grateful, but why?
It's not just being polite, it's about shifting your energy. When you appreciate what you already have, even the small stuff, it creates this abundance mindset.
So less, I don't have this yet, more, I'm grateful for what is here now.
And that can be huge. Because when you're genuinely thankful for what's good, you start to notice more opportunities, you feel more capable, and you're less likely to get stuck in negativity.
I like that. So we've got clarity, belief, inspired action, and gratitude. It's like a recipe.
I like that analogy. And it's a recipe that can be adapted to whatever you're trying to manifest.
Now, I know some folks are listening and they're thinking, okay, but I tried all that and nothing happened. What do you say to them?
That's when we got to dig deeper.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's our subconscious, those limiting beliefs we talked about that are holding us back. We might say we want something, but deep down,
We're scared of it.
it could be fear of failure or even fear of success, or maybe we don't really believe we deserve it.
So self-sabotage on a whole other level.
Exactly. And then there's timing. The universe has its own rhythm. Sometimes it's not. No, it's not yet. That's where trust and patience come in.
Ugh, patience, that's the hard part, isn't it?
It can be. But one way to cultivate patience is to focus on the process, not just the end result.
So if our listener wants to manifest that cozy downtown cafe by, let's say, 2025.
Don't just fixate on the grand opening day. Enjoy each step along the way, finding the perfect location, designing the menu, even picking out the furniture.
To celebrate those little wins, no matter how small.
Each one is a sign that you're moving in the right direction, and it reinforces your belief that you can do this.
And that ties back into gratitude, right? Being thankful for every step forward.
Exactly. And sometimes it's about taking a step back and asking yourself, is this still what I truly want? Our desires can change, you know?
Yeah, no point manifesting something you don't actually want anymore. Speaking of tools, I know the script focuses on visualization and affirmations, but are there other techniques folks can explore?
Oh, tons. Crystals, for example. Different crystals have unique energy properties that can support certain intentions. Like citrine is often used for abundance and success.
Crystals, huh? I gotta admit, I'm a bit skeptical about those. Is there any science behind it, or is it more of a spiritual thing?
Honestly, it's probably a bit of both. Scientifically, crystals have this unique molecular structure that creates a specific vibrational frequency. And some believe that this frequency can interact with our own energy field, you know,
So it's like tuning forks, vibrating at the same frequency.
sort of. And then there's the placebo effect. If you believe that a certain crystal will help you manifest something, that belief itself can create a positive shift in your mindset.
Interesting. So even if it's just a placebo effect, the belief is powerful. What about other techniques?
Aromatherapy is another good one. Essential oils can have a big impact on our mood and energy. Lavender, for example, is known for its calming properties.
Oh, yeah, I love lavender. So if you're
Yeah,
feeling stressed about your goal, a little lavender oil could help you relax and trust the process.
exactly. And of course, there's meditation, which is great for calming the mind, connecting with yourself, and setting clear intentions.
So we've got crystals, essential oils, meditation. It's like we're building a whole manifestation toolkit here.
We are. And the best part is, you can customize it to whatever works best for you.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach. It's about experimenting and finding what resonates with you.
Exactly. And even with all the tools and techniques, sometimes we hit a wall. That's when seeking guidance can be really helpful.
You mean like working with a coach or mentor?
Yeah. Sometimes having someone objective can help you see your blind spots or get past those limiting beliefs that are holding you back. Plus, they can keep you motivated.
It's like having a manifestation buddy.
I like that.
Yeah.
And they can also introduce you to new techniques or resources that you might not have found on your own.
Okay, so support system, check. Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to touch on something that's often left out of these conversations. Intuition.
Ah, yes. Intuition is crucial.
You mean that gut feeling, like that inner voice?
Yeah.
How does that fit into manifestation?
It's like having a built-in compass. Sometimes the signal is clear, sometimes it's fuzzy, but it's always there, guiding us.
So how do we like strengthen that intuition muscle, especially when it comes to manifesting our desires?
You got to practice. Start by just noticing those intuitive nudges you get throughout the day. Maybe it's a sudden urge to reach out to someone or a knowing of which path to take, even if it doesn't logically make sense.
Okay, paying attention.
Hmm.
But how do we know if it's really intuition or just wishful thinking disguising itself as guidance?
That's the tricky part. One way to tell the difference is to pay attention to how it feels in your body.
Yeah.
Intuition usually feels expansive, calm, like a sense of rightness, even if your mind can't explain it.
It's more than just a thought, it's a feeling.
Exactly. Whereas wishful thinking often feels more desperate, anxious, like you're grasping for something outside of yourself.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. So we're using intuition to guide our actions, to make sure we're on a path that truly resonates with us.
You got it. And, you know, I've seen some amazing results when people start trusting their gut, taking action based on those intuitive nudges. It's like they tap into a deeper source of wisdom.
Almost like surrendering to something bigger than ourselves, trusting that the universe has our back.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And when you combine that trust with clear intention, positive action, and a grateful heart, well, the possibilities are truly endless.
Hmm.
So where were we? Right, intuition, really tuning into that gut feeling can be huge for manifestation.
Yeah, we were talking about how it's like an inner compass, but sometimes the signal's weak.
Exactly. But like any skill, you can strengthen it with practice. Start by just noticing those little nudges you get throughout the day.
Like what? Give me an example.
It could be a sudden urge to call someone, or you're driving and you just know to take a certain route, even if it makes no sense logically.
Okay, so I'm paying attention to these nudges, but How do I know it's really intuition and not just me wanting something so bad that my brain's making stuff up?
That's the million-dollar question. One way to tell the difference is to pay attention to how it feels in your body.
Okay.
Usually, intuition feels expansive, calming, like a sense of, yeah, this is right, even if your mind can't explain why.
So it's not just a thought, it's an actual feeling.
Right. Wishful thinking, on the other hand, tends to feel more desperate, kind of anxious, like you're grasping at something outside yourself.
Okay, I see the distinction. So when we're trying to manifest something, we're using intuition to choose the actions that feel aligned with what we truly desire.
Exactly. It might sound a little out there, but honestly, some of the biggest breakthroughs I've seen with my clients have come when they started trusting their gut.
It's like they tapped into this deeper wisdom.
Exactly. They're not just relying on logic or overthinking, they're letting their intuition guide them.
And that takes us back to trusting the process, right? Letting go of control and surrendering to something bigger.
Exactly. It's about believing that the universe, or whatever you call that higher power, is working with you.
And that can be a huge relief, right? Like you don't have to figure everything out on your own.
Totally. Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I want to circle back to the cafe example.
Our listener who wants to manifest that cozy downtown cafe by 2025.
Yes. We talked about the 4 principles: clarity, belief, inspired action, gratitude. Let's actually walk through how they could apply those to make that dream a reality.
Okay, I love a good action plan. Where do we start?
Step 1, clarity. And I mean crystal clear. Not just a cafe, but what kind of cafe? What's the vibe? What's on the menu? What music is playing? What kind of art is on the walls?
Wow, get specific.
Exactly. Write it all down, sketch it out, create a vision board. The clearer your vision, the easier it is to align your energy with it.
Okay, so I've got my super detailed vision board. Now what?
Now you infuse it with belief. This is where those affirmations come in. Instead of saying, I hope to open a cafe someday, start saying, I am the owner of a thriving downtown cafe. Feel it, believe it.
I get the concept, but honestly, sometimes visualizations and affirmations feel kind of forced. Like I'm trying to feel it, but it's not genuine. Any tips?
That's where inspired action comes in. If you're struggling with visualizing the end result, start doing things that would make that cafe feel real now.
Like what?
Take a barista course, not just to learn the skills, but to actually feel what it's like to make those lattes your future customers will be sipping.
Oh, I like that. It's like a mini manifestation, getting those early wins to build belief.
Exactly. And while you're doing that, don't forget about gratitude. Be grateful for the delicious coffee you're learning to make, for the opportunity to learn new skills, for the very idea of your cafe.
Okay, so we're being clear on the goal, we're taking inspired action, we're feeling grateful, but let's be real. Sometimes you can do all that and it still feels like nothing's happening.
Right, and that can be so frustrating. That's when it's time to check in with yourself. Are there any limiting beliefs holding you back?
Like deep down, maybe I'm scared to actually succeed. Or maybe I don't think I deserve it.
It could be anything. Sometimes we're not even aware of these beliefs until we really start digging. Journaling can be a great way to uncover those hidden blocks.
So I'm journaling, trying to get honest with myself about those fears and doubts. What else?
Remember timing. No, it's not yet. The universe works in mysterious ways, right?
Patience. I'm not always good at that.
I hear you. It can be tough. One way to cultivate patience is to shift your focus from the outcome to the process.
Okay, explain that.
Instead of obsessing over the grand opening of your cafe, find joy in each step along the way. Celebrate finding the perfect location, designing the logo, even picking out the furniture.
So appreciating those small wins.
Exactly. Each win, no matter how small, helps build momentum and reinforce your belief that you're on the right track.
And that ties back into gratitude, right? Being thankful for every step forward.
Absolutely. And remember, sometimes it's okay to take a step back and reevaluate. Has something changed in your life that makes this goal less appealing? Maybe you need to adjust your vision or set a new intention altogether.
So it's not about forcing something that doesn't feel aligned anymore.
Nope. Manifestation should feel good, should feel exciting. If it's starting to feel like a chore, it might be time to reassess.
That's such an important point. It's not about clinging to a goal just because you set it a while ago. Your desires can evolve.
Exactly. And speaking of evolving, beyond those core principles, there are a ton of tools and techniques that can help amplify your manifestation power.
The script mainly focuses on visualization and affirmations, which are great starting points.
Yeah, those are the classics.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what else is out there? What else can people experiment with?
Oh, there's a whole world beyond affirmations. For example, have you ever worked with crystals?
Crystals. Uh, Not really. I've always been a little skeptical, to be honest.
I get it. It can seem a little woo-woo at first, but different crystals have unique energy properties that can support different intentions. Like, citrine is often used for manifesting abundance and success.
Hmm, interesting. So how does that work exactly? Is there any science behind it, or is it more of a spiritual thing?
Honestly, it's probably a bit of both. Scientifically speaking, crystals have a unique molecular structure that creates a specific vibrational frequency.
And some people believe that this frequency can interact with our own energy field. It's like,
Like,
well,
like tuning forks,
yeah,
vibrating at the same frequency.
yeah, kind of like that. And then there's the placebo effect. If you believe a certain crystal will help you manifest something, that belief itself can create a positive shift in your mindset and behavior, which can then lead to positive outcomes.
So even if it's just the placebo effect, the belief is still powerful. What about other techniques? What else is in our manifestation toolkit?
Well, there's aromatherapy. Essential oils can be incredibly powerful for shifting our mood and energy. Have you ever used lavender oil?
Oh, yeah, lavender is amazing. So relaxing.
Exactly. And it's known for its calming properties, which can be really helpful for reducing stress and anxiety and creating a more receptive state for manifestation.
So if you're feeling stressed about achieving a goal, a little lavender oil could help you chill out and trust the process.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's meditation. I mean, that's a classic for calming the mind, connecting with yourself, and getting clear on your intentions.
Okay, so we've got crystals, essential oils, meditation. It sounds like we're building quite the arsenal here.
We are. And the beautiful thing is there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's about finding what works best for you.
Exactly. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to manifestation. It's all about experimenting and finding what resonates.
Exactly. And sometimes, even with all the tools and techniques, we might still hit a wall.
Like we get stuck or we lose motivation.
Yep. And that's when seeking guidance can be incredibly helpful.
You mean like working with a coach or mentor?
Yeah. Sometimes having an outside perspective can help you see your blind spots, overcome those limiting beliefs, and just stay motivated on your journey.
So it's like having a manifestation buddy to cheer you on and keep you accountable.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And a good coach can also introduce you to new techniques or resources that you might not have discovered on your own.
Okay, so support system, check. Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to touch on something that I think is often overlooked in these conversations. Intuition.
Ah, yes. Intuition. It's so important.
You mean that gut feeling, that inner voice? How does that fit into manifestation?
Well, it's like having a built-in compass. Sometimes the signal's clear, sometimes it's fuzzy, but it's always there, guiding us.
So how do we, strengthen that intuition muscle, especially when it comes to manifesting our desires?
Like any muscle, you got to work it out. Start by just noticing those intuitive nudges you get throughout the day.
Like what?
It could be a sudden urge to reach out to someone, or you're driving and you just know to take a certain route, even if it makes no sense logically.
Okay, paying attention to the nudges. But how do I know if it's really intuition or just wishful thinking disguising itself as guidance?
That's the tricky part. One way to tell the difference is to pay attention to how it feels in your body.
Oh.
Usually intuition feels expansive, calming, like a sense of, yeah, this is right, even if your mind can't explain why.
So it's not just a thought, it's an actual feeling.
Exactly. Whereas wishful thinking often feels more desperate, kind of anxious, like you're grasping at something outside yourself.
Okay, I see the distinction. So when we're trying to manifest something, we're using our intuition to choose the actions that feel aligned with what we truly desire.
Exactly. It might sound a little out there, but honestly, some of the biggest breakthroughs I've seen with my clients have come when they started trusting their gut.
It's like they tapped into this deeper wisdom.
Exactly. They're not just relying on logic or overthinking. They're letting their intuition guide them.
And that takes us back to trusting the process, right?
Yeah.
Letting go of control and surrendering to something bigger.
Exactly. It's about believing that the universe, or whatever you call that higher power, is working with you.
And that can be a huge relief, right? Like you don't have to figure everything out on your own.
Totally. Now, I know we've covered a lot of ground today, but before we wrap things up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. It's about remembering that you're not alone on this journey. There's a whole universe of support out there, whether it's your intuition, a higher power, or even just those supportive people in your life.
It's like we're all connected, all part of this bigger tapestry.
Exactly. And when we tap into that connection, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities.
This has been such an incredible deep dive into manifestation. We've covered so much ground, from the core principles to practical techniques, and even the power of intuition. As we wrap things up, are there any key takeaways you'd like our listeners to remember? Anything you want to really drive home?
Well, first and foremost, remember that manifestation is a co-creation. It's not about passively wishing or hoping, but actively aligning your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions with what you want to bring into your life.
Okay, so we're taking ownership of the process. We're not just sitting back and waiting for things to happen.
Right. We're actively participating in the creation of our reality. And secondly, embrace the journey. Manifestation is not always linear. There will be ups and downs, challenges, detours.
Life, basically.
Exactly. But those bumps in the road are often opportunities for growth.
So don't get discouraged when things don't go exactly according to plan.
Exactly. Adjust, adapt, and keep moving forward. And finally, never underestimate the power of belief. Believe in yourself, believe in the process, and believe in the unlimited possibilities that exist for you.
I love that. Believe in the magic.
Absolutely. The magic is real, but it starts with you.
This has been so insightful. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And to all of you listening, we hope this deep dive has inspired you to tap into your own manifestation power. Remember, you are capable of creating the life of your dreams. So go out there and make it happen. And until next time, keep those vibes high and those dreams big.